Hey everybody, my name is Mark Smith.
I'm Bob Blackwater.
And this is our little monthly Flower and Hive report. But before we get to that, we've got a quick message from the President of Cabarrus County Beekeepers, Mr. Gene Lane.
Fellow beekeepers, Gene Lane here. On behalf of the officers of the Cabarrus Beekeepers Association, I wanted to provide you with a club update. As you know, it was unfortunate that we had to cancel our March and April meetings. On a positive note, Mark Smith and Bob Blackwater were able to provide us with a March and April Hive and Flower Report, which were posted to our Facebook page and to YouTube. Hopefully you had the opportunity to view both of these reports. I spoke with Mark a little bit ago, and they have finished recording the Hive and Flower Report for May, and he's waiting on me to finish this video and send it to him so that he can get everything posted. So hopefully keep an eye out on our Facebook page for Bob and Mark with the May Hive and Flower Report. Also, recently I sent out an email concerning our May meeting. We basically moved it back 1 week to May 29th. We're going to hold the meeting outdoors at the church. Well, we're not going to have a presenter at this meeting. It's a perfect opportunity to get together and also to discuss club business. Later on in the week, I'm going to go ahead and send out an email with an update on the plans for the meeting Friday the 29th. Also, last week, past and present club leadership met virtually with an eye on the upcoming months. Options for the November Cabarrus Beekeepers Presents, for finishing up the last, I think, 3 classes for our Beekeeper School, and future meetings were discussed. Now, I'm going to try and continue to provide updates as we work through these challenges. And as always, please stay safe. And I'm going to have to turn the video off, but I appreciate your time and patience. Thank you.
All right, thank you, Gene. Appreciate those words on what's coming up for the club. So Bob, boy, it's been strange beekeeping this month, hasn't it?
Well, I've actually have missed the meetings. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's strange not having a regular meeting like normal.
It is.
So I'd be glad to get back to some kind of normal meeting schedule, you know?
Yeah, whatever normal is going to be.
Yeah, whatever that's going to be. But here lately, I've been a little concerned. We've been getting a lot of rain. And there's been days the bees have really been confined. You know, they hadn't been getting out.
Yeah, just as a point of reference, we're recording this video on Saturday, May the 23rd. Yeah, today's 23rd?
Yeah,
I think so.
Today is 23rd, I believe. Yeah.
And this past week, you know, a lot of people I've noticed from all kinds of parts of the country are watching these little videos. We've had rain here for 4 straight nights.
Yep.
It's been amazing.
Yep. The ground is saturated. I mean, the ground is literally saturated. But I did notice the other day, after a little rain shower come through, the bees, later that day, the sun come back out. The bees were flying pretty good. But I think, again, of course, the nectar would have been washed out.
Yeah.
So they really wasn't foraging, but I think they was just being hemmed up for a while. They were just having good cleansing flights.
They were glad to be out and about.
They were glad to fly a little bit and get out and around. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
So it's been a little strange from that standpoint.
So what have you seen blooming lately, Bob?
Well, blooming, I'm seeing the elderberries. They're still blooming. Bees will work them sometimes. Not one of their favorites.
Yeah.
Okay. I'm seeing privet still blooming, even though it's on the down right now. It's on the down shift right now. And again, that's the Chinese privet blooming now. Okay. And some people call it little leaf privet. Okay. But it's maybe a few more days left. That's it on it. The big leaf privet, or the Japanese privet, has not started blooming yet. Okay, and we're probably a couple weeks away on it.
Yeah.
It's looking good, and it's going to have a good flow this year because there's so much ground moisture.
Yeah. And
that's what it wants. Is get some sunshine now, and a little bit of heat, and that ground moisture like it is, that privet really produces, and bees love it. The bees work it hound out of it because, again, it doesn't have a lot of competition this time of year. I've seen a little bit of sumac starting to bloom. And I would thought normally it's a little bit early for sumac.
Yeah.
But I've seen some starting to head up, starting to bloom. Of course, it's multiple kinds of sumac too.
It's true.
But bees work all of it, and they love it. They
Yeah.
love it. It's a good source. The thing I'm seeing probably the most of right now is white clover.
You know, my white clover, before all this rain came, was starting to look a little sick. I could tell it was fixing to go to seed. But I really believe all this rain is going to revive it. Because I've seen, like today, all day today, I've seen my bees just tearing it up.
And caution people a little bit. When you go to mow, if you can mow late in the afternoon, when the bees are pretty well quit foraging for the day, I think you're better off, because realistically, when the bees are foraging on clover, they're paying attention to their foraging in that clover,
Yeah.
and not your lawnmower.
That's right.
And so you technically could be mowing over a lot of bees.
Yeah.
And so to prevent that, I suggest try to just mow real late in the day,
Yeah.
when the foraging is pretty well over for the day.
Or better yet, don't mow your clover.
Don't mow the clover. But sometimes even mowing the clover, what you'll notice, you'll mow it, and then 2 days later it reblooms.
Oh yeah.
And see, that can be a good thing, because once it actually seeds itself, it's going to pretty well quit blooming.
Yeah.
But now if you cut that cycle in two by mowing it, well, and you got enough ground moisture, which we have,
Yeah.
it will rebloom, and so you can extend that bloom on it technically by mowing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, you know, a lot of people online, especially on the different Facebook groups, have been talking about how they think flow is almost over. You know, we started, we all felt like we were running about a month, 3 to 4 weeks ahead of schedule this year because of how crazy January was. So, what do you think we still yet got to bloom?
Okay. Again, the sumac, like we just mentioned,
Right.
they're yet to bloom. That's a very good source. Your bees will gain weight on that. If you got much of it around, normally you see around the edge of fields, kind of in waste areas, is where you'll see it. You've got the large leaf privet, again, and it can make a small tree, really. I mean, it can be pretty good size, and it blooms profusely. I mean, just tremendously. And the bees work it hard.
Yeah.
So the bees will make a gain on it. The other thing blooming right now, the bees are working, again, when it's not raining, is persimmon.
Yeah.
The persimmon right now, just by judging the blossom drop I've seen already, we've probably got another week or so left on it.
Yeah.
Years ago, I would have told you that when the persimmon is over, flow's over.
Yeah.
Okay? Bees would feed themselves, but you're not going to really make much gain. Over the last couple of years, I don't think that's been the truth, because of the privet mainly. Some people tell me the other thing makes a difference, and I can't prove it as such, is the crepe myrtles. That the crepe myrtle bees are working crepe myrtles more than we recognize, and they can actually make some weight gain on crepe myrtles.
Especially the white ones.
They love the white ones better. For
some-
some reason or other, they do like the white. I've noticed the same thing. They seem to like the white ones better.
Yeah.
But they will definitely work them some. At one time, I said not enough to make a difference.
Yeah.
But it appears that's not really all the case, really.
Yeah.
George McAllister, remember George?
Oh yeah.
And his scales, and that's a great thing to have, is the hive on scales. And he's been doing that several years now, and he's fine-tuned it. I mean, even he can fine-tune it to the point he can tell you what time in the morning the foragers are leaving the hive. I mean, that's scary accurate when
That's
it comes to
amazing.
beekeeping.
Yeah.
But again, it can tell you that, and again, and he can tell you when foragers start returning, okay, for the day, you know, and throughout the day as they make multiple trips. But George's records are really good, okay, and so he has grafted the flow, okay, for several years. And again, in his location, which is South Charlotte, the flow has been extended,
Yeah.
okay, it's been extended throughout the month of June. But historically, I've told you too late.
Yeah.
But that appears not to be the case. Of what I've seen supervised, the bees are actually making honey through the month of June.
Yeah.
And so now I'll usually say, well, it's not over till the 1st of July. Realistically,
Yeah.
yeah.
So it's amazing how that changes over time. You know, different things come in, you know, different plants, whether they're invasive, non-invasive, because you know, technically privet is an invasive.
That's right. That's
But-
right. And the
but-
Forest Service just cut all of it down.
Yeah,
That's
but I look at it like this: if it feeds my bees,
I like it.
I like it.
Me too.
It's not invasive.
That's right. That's right.
But yeah,
And let's face it, at one time we depended heavily on the poplars.
Yeah.
But if you look around, there's less and less poplars.
Yeah.
Again, the timber cutters have gotten more and more to poplars, and they're being replaced with pine trees.
Yeah. That's sad.
That's a big zero for bees. You know?
Yeah, that's sad. So, and probably another thing, and the only reason I know this is because I planted 3 of them in my yard about 4 years ago. Small leaf linden trees.
Yes.
We still got them yet to come.
Yes.
Hopefully somewhere right around Father's Day.
Yeah. The lindens, or basswood, some people would call it,
Yeah.
historically bloom right around Father's Day. That's right. Bees love them. Bees love them.
Yeah.
And again, they can vary a little bit from year to year, okay, like most things can. Of course, you got the large leaf linden, which is called the American linden, American basswood. And the little leaf, which actually grows faster, and is the most common one planted as street trees around, and they grow a lot faster. But again, that's the small leaf linden or European linden.
Yeah.
Both of them are good sources for bees, real good sources. Again, midsummer, I've got a little vitex tree out there, and the bees love it. They love it. Years and years ago, all the guys that raised queens would have vitex, like fence rows of vitex, and down the driveway rows of vitex, to be able to have a source for the bees midsummer,
Yeah.
to encourage our bees to continue raising queens. Okay, when the flow stops, it's hard to raise queens.
It's true.
Okay, and so as long as you got a flow going, you can raise queens. But when the flow stops, that gets hard.
Yeah.
And so, and the bees know. The bees know. Right now, again, you should have a real good population of bees. And usually by this time in the flow, the tendency to swarm is less. Okay, the bees on the front end of the flow have a tendency to intensify their swarming. Okay, so on the latter part of the flow, which is a lot more gradual, shall we say, that curve is a lot more gradual than the first part of the flow, which is real steep as far as weight gain goes.
Yeah.
The bees will lose that tendency to want to swarm as much.
Yeah.
That's no guarantee.
Yeah. Do you think one of the contributing factors as far as the swarming tendency being stronger at the beginning is because we as beekeepers are a little slow putting supers on?
That could be a factor. I mean, again, there's multiple factors on swarming.
Yeah.
The longer I fool with it, I realize there's more and more factors on swarming.
Yeah.
There's just not one factor.
Right.
Okay, so if you ignore that one factor, well, it's like shooting a hole in a barrel. Well,
Yeah.
you get an order only goes to that high, then it runs out. So you got to do all the practices to help swarming control, shall we say. If you're going for maximum honey production. If you're trying to make bees, well, hey, they're doing it.
Yeah.
But again, the queen is basing egg laying and brood production on what's coming in the door.
Yeah.
I mean, that's just how it is.
That's true.
If nothing's coming in the door, she shuts down.
Yeah. And right now, well, minus the 4 days of torrential rain, I've had a lot coming in. It's going to be interesting. I hadn't been in my bees today. Probably not going to get around to that till tomorrow. It's going to be interesting to see how much of what they had stored up that they have eaten.
Yeah.
In 4 days.
Yeah. Again, a strong population of bees, let's face it, it takes something to feed them.
Yeah.
And so, but again, that's normal, that's up and down, nothing we can do about it,
Right.
nothing to be concerned with. They made it, it's theirs.
Right.
Let them eat it if they need it.
And I had rather them eat that reserve during a time like what we've had than not have anything there to eat at all.
That's right, exactly right. Again, I'm still hearing about some people making splits. You can do that easily. Right now, we're right past that point. Forever, I've always judged May the 20th is a date when you can manage the brood and not damage the population of the bees, the foraging population.
Yeah.
Because any eggs laid after May the 20th, that bee will not be old enough as a forager to forage to influence that year's honey flow. Okay? And so if you want to take a few frames of brood, cat brood, you hadn't hurt a thing.
Yeah.
You have not hurt that colony as far as taking, brood to do a divide, a split, or, just to boost another colony maybe.
And what I actually did last week, some of the colonies that I had swarmed, that I knew I really wasn't going to get any honey out of them, I took them, just split them all up. And I did a bunch of splits last weekend, but I knew that they weren't going to contribute to any kind of honey flow.
Right, right. Again, it takes a good population of bees to make honey. That's just how it is. That's why always, if you got a swarm, you lost a large part of your honey flow for that colony.
Yeah.
I mean, that's just how it is, because you lost those older foragers.
Yeah. Yeah, a lot of those like that I know swarmed and requeened, I just split them up in thirds, made 3 out of them. So.
And you can still do that through the summer.
Oh yeah.
You might have to feed a little more.
Oh yeah.
You say the world ain't perfect. You got to give up something.
Yeah.
And so if you're working the flow right now for honey, well, you can't do many splits.
That's right.
Okay, and so but a little bit later, another month, you can and not affect that. But at the same time, it costs you something, which is going to be you're going to feed them a little bit more.
Yeah. It just goes back to the old saying, it's real hard to make honey and make bees at
That's
the same
right.
time.
You can't do
You
it.
just
So
can't do it.
You can't do both.
Yeah.
And it's like they say, it's no free lunch on that.
Yeah, it's kind of like milking a cow. It's hard to milk a cow and get milk and ask her to make ice cream at the same time.
It's
It's
got to
just
work.
not going to work out too good.
But I say right now the bees seem to be in pretty good shape. Really,
Yeah.
I'm pretty impressed overall with what I've seen. The
Yeah.
bees are in good shape.
Yeah.
This has been a pretty good year for them. And again, we got good ground moisture right now, so hopefully it'll draw the flow a little longer because of the ground moisture.
It would be nice. It would be nice because it is definitely wet.
No doubt, no doubt. I'd like to see a few many people around. There's a tree called a BB tree. Okay, now I tried to get some started a couple years ago here. I had ordered some seed from one of the bees catalogs.
Yeah.
One of the clubs had put it. They send them 50 cents. They send you a couple seed.
Yeah.
And I know years ago Herman Rohr had one in his backyard. It's called a BB tree. I think the real name is Ivana. It's the real name of that tree. But it was amazing how the bees worked that tree.
Yeah.
Amazing. I mean, it sounded like a swarm the whole time. It's kind of like, how you get around a holly when it's in full bloom,
Oh,
the bees
gosh,
are in
yeah.
that holly, just shaking it,
Yep.
That BB tree would sound the same way. But unfortunately, my little plants didn't survive. And so I'm interested, and I haven't seen one around this area, okay? Supposedly it will grow here, but I have not seen one. That's something I'm going to try to experiment a little bit more here this summer,
Yeah.
and try to locate some and see if we can get some started.
It's amazing how when you catch the bug on beekeeping, if you weren't already a plant nut, you become a plant nut.
Yeah, oh yeah, you have to.
You got to grow something.
Yeah, it intermeshes so good with each other.
I know it.
And again, right now, I will caution some people in gardens. A lot of people got squash blooming right now, zucchini blooming, same family, and you're always worried about the bugs in them. Okay, and so if you start spraying, especially mid-morning, it's a bad plan. Bad plan. Bees work squash blossoms in the mornings.
Yeah.
Okay, and so if you're spraying mid-morning, you're going to kill a lot of your pollinators.
Yeah.
Okay, which is going to hurt your squash overall. If you think you have to spray, again, I will caution too, spray is always safer than dust.
Yeah.
Okay, always safer. But try to spray late in the afternoon. Real late in the afternoon. The last half hour of daylight would be the best time. Your foragers are back at the hive, you're going to do the least amount of damage to bees. Okay?
Right.
About all the labels now that are dangerous, the pesticides that are dangerous to bees, which is basically all of them, are going to have a bee caution on there, okay? About that they are dangerous to bees. So pay attention to that label. But again, try to use spray late in the day. And try to stay away from your dust.
That's good advice.
It's not going to be much longer if you're going to have people with roasting their corn, okay? Now, on sweet corn, bees work sweet corn a bunch. They love that pollen of sweet corn. Again, it's got a lot of pollen, and it's really attracted to bees. But again, some people are paranoid about earworms. So what they want to do is spray their corn. Well, if you're spraying sweet corn mid-morning, oh, you're killing bees like everything.
Oh, yeah.
That's a bad plan. Again, if you feel like you have to spray it, you need to do it real late in the day. Okay, definitely don't do it in the mornings. Bad plan. But it's amazing how much pollen they will get off sweet corn when it's in bloom. Those tassels, they work those tassels like everything. And in my opinion, even though corn technically is wind pollinated, when those bees are working those tassels and they're in there flying and bumping around and that movement,
Yeah.
it's got to be shelling pollen out down to the silks. It's got to be doing it.
Just a little bit.
Yeah, it's got to be helping. I mean, there's no doubt. In my mind, it's helping.
Yeah.
But be real cautious on spraying your sweet corn because you can kill a lot of bees.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm hoping to have a bunch of sweet corn this year. The garden has become much bigger after this coronavirus stuff.
Yeah, and I think that's true for a lot of people. They tell me around at the hardware that a lot of times they're running out of seed.
Yeah.
That people are planting so much more stuff.
Yeah.
Well, a lot of that stuff they're planting needs pollinators.
Yeah, that's true.
And so the demand. I had a guy call this the other day, begged me to bring a hive over to his garden location. I know the man. I also know that he does not like stuff with bug bite on it.
Yeah.
So he uses dust heavily. Okay, and I refuse to take a hive over it. Okay, I won't take that chance. He doesn't want bug bites, but at the same time, he doesn't want to not use a lot of pesticide to protect my bees.
Yeah.
So if he won't protect my bees, I'm not taking them there. I mean, that's just kind of sad, but that's kind of how it is.
That's, you gotta preserve your bees. And you can't expose them to crap like that because you know what's going to happen.
Oh yeah, exactly. You know what's going to happen. And so, I mean, you wouldn't expose your kids to that.
Nope.
Why would you expose your bees to that?
That's true.
But
What else you got, Bob?
Well, that's about it for me. I would encourage, there's still plenty of time this time of year, plant lima beans.
Yeah.
If you ever notice, bees love to work lima beans.
That's true.
And you can grow lima beans throughout the summer. And so a couple rows of lima beans, again, your bee's not going to make a super honey on it, no. But at the same time, it's going to entertain the bees
Yeah.
and hopefully help feed them. And you're going to make, guess what, more beans,
That's right.
more lima beans.
You know what else likes lima beans?
Me.
And me.
Did you, Ben?
A little salt and pepper, and we're good to go. That's a meal. And some cornbread.
A little cornbread, a little
God.
hot cornbread, a
Oh.
little honey drizzled on hot cornbread, a little lima beans. You can't beat it.
After all that, I ain't worth 2 cents.
But again, that's a good plant that is beneficial to you and to the bees.
Yeah.
Okay, and again, those lima beans are really good on that standpoint, and they will bloom, like I say, all through the summer.
Yeah. And they're easy to grow.
They are easy to grow. That's
Easy
right.
to grow.
And again, if you say, well, I don't want that many lima beans, well, let them get dry.
Yeah.
Pick dry ones. You can store them in a sack. You can give them away.
That's right.
Take them down here to the food bank. Hand it to them. You know.
They'll be glad to have them.
Oh, be glad to have them. They love to have them.
Yeah.
And again, when it gets cold and snowy outside, yeah, a good pot of lima beans is a good deal.
Yeah. Slice your onion to go with it.
Oh, it's even better.
Oh,
Yeah.
God.
Yep, it's even better. But the next thing I think most beekeepers are going to be doing or thinking about doing here is going to be extracting honey. And so I've done those. Some of them are getting their stuff together, shall we say,
Yeah.
cleaned up and getting organized a little bit, getting ready to say, well, I can start taking honey. And I will tell you that anytime you've got a capped super, you can take that super. Okay? So if you want to take a super of capped honey, but be sure it's capped. If it's capped, you can pull a super, extract it. I would suggest putting that super back on the bees to dry it out. That wet super, you just set it out, you create such a daggum flurry of bees after it that's not good. And you can encourage robbing if you're not careful.
Yeah.
So I just say put that super back on the top of your hive when you finish extracting it. That way that sticky honey is on there. And they'll clean, my experience has been they'll clean it up in a day.
One
They
day.
just done one day, they'll have it dry and cleaned up
Yeah.
and actually do some repairs. All
Yeah.
those little dents you got here and there, they'll do some repairs on it.
Yep. And if you pull it early enough in the season, they'll reuse it.
They'll refill it. Oh,
they'll
absolutely.
put nectar and honey. They'll put nectar right back in it.
They love that drawn comb.
Oh yeah.
And that drawn comb is a good incentive to keep foraging.
That's right.
When they run out of space, let's face it, a lot of times they'll shut down foraging.
Yeah.
And it's hard to get them started back. But if you'll keep it empty on them, and drum comb is the best.
Yeah.
Drum comb is so much more attractive to them than foundation.
Yeah.
Bees look at foundation and go, yeah, you know. But on drum comb, different story. Oh yeah, they love it.
That's true.
They love it.
Is that it, buddy?
I think that's it.
Sounds
Cabarrus
good.
County Beekeepers meeting coming up, I think.
I think we've got one coming up this coming Friday. It's going to be good to see everybody. How many people we'll be able to have at the meeting, we don't quite know yet because of the restrictions, but we'll see soon. We'll see soon.
Sounds good, Mark.
All right. And thanks again for watching our little video. We'll keep doing these as long as we have to. And just as a side note, I'm also taking these videos that I'm putting on Facebook, on our club Facebook page, and putting them on the club's YouTube channel. So you can watch them at either place. And please like, share, and subscribe to the YouTube channel, and like and follow our Facebook page. We post stuff all the time on there that might be either entertaining or educational. So thank you so much for watching. Happy beekeeping, and we'll see you later.
See you later.
Boom. Just like that. Cut!
Easy enough.
Yep, cut.